So I'm often asked, is beauty something that is real, or is it simply in the eye of the beholder? That's a phrase that our culture tends to toss about. Because the fact of the matter is that when you ask people in the culture today, what do you think about beauty? They will tell you that's entirely a matter of personal preference or personal taste. The fancy word for that would be that beauty is in some way purely subjective, up to the subject to decide for him or herself. The problem is that if anything is just subjective in that way, then it's not really real. I think that beauty is an objective and essential part of reality and a part of our human existence. C.S. Lewis gives probably the best example that can help us understand that I've ever heard in his book, The Abolition of Man, which, funny enough, is not talking about beauty. But in a scene in that book, he's describing an encounter between two men who both see a waterfall. And one of them describes the waterfall as pretty, and the other describes the waterfall as sublime, which is something like beautiful. The writer of this book reduced the second man's thoughts about the waterfall, when he called it sublime, to simply an expression about his personal feelings. And Lewis said, that can't be the case. If we were talking just about the second man's feelings, then his feelings would have to be in exact opposite to what he described. In other words, in order for the waterfall to be beautiful or sublime, it would have had to humble the man. So the only proper way that man could have talked about his feelings is to say, I have humble feelings. That means that the beauty or the sublimity was a real aspect, a real attribute of that waterfall. It is something real, and it is something that is in our everyday world, and we have all experienced beauty in one way or another. And the fact of the matter is, because it is real and we all experience it and it does something to each of us, we know that beauty, being real, comes from something beyond us. In fact, I would say that it is grounded in the person of God Himself. And when we encounter beauty in our world, it's almost as if there's a little hole in the universe for a second, or as if the curtain between here on earth and heaven flaps for just a minute, and you get a glimpse of what is beyond. And if you, to use another C.S. Lewis example, look along that beauty rather than just at it, then you might just see the true source from whence it all has come.